Hi, my name is Cory Silverberg. I'm a writer and a teacher, and today I want to read to you a little bit from a book I wrote with my friend Fiona Smith called Sex is a Funny Word. We wrote the book because when we were growing up, all the books we had about sex acted like there was only one answer to every question, and those answers never worked for us. Our book does something a little bit different. We don't pretend that sex is mostly or just about making babies. So our book talks about bodies and gender and touch and feelings and all kinds of relationships and what it's like to grow up. And we do it in a way that kind of encourages all of us to ask questions and also start figuring out what the word sex means to us. So I hope you like it. Here's the cover of the book, and on the cover we see the four characters who we kind of follow throughout the book. And they are Cooper, who's 8, Zai, who's 8.5, Mimi, who's 9, and Omar, who's 10. And on the cover it says the title, which is Sex is a Funny Word, a book about bodies, feelings, and you, by Cory Silverberg and Fiona Smith. Sex is a funny word. Everyone has their own idea of what sex is. Some people think they don't know anything about sex. Some people think they know it all. All of us have questions about sex, and all of us have answers, too. Each chapter opens with a comic, and this chapter is called Learning About Sex. And here we see Mimi, Cooper, Omar, and Zai in the classroom, and the teacher is talking. The teacher says, "Okay, everyone, settle down. I've got a riddle for you. What's a word with only 3 letters, but many meanings?" And the students all try to figure it out, and they say words like bad, cat, dog, red, bee, box, pie, ear, ink, eat, toe, sit. And the teacher says, "Those are 3-letter words, but they aren't the answer I was looking for." Give up? The answer is sex. That's right, sex. Can anyone tell me what makes sex a funny word? And now the students are kind of giggling, and some are embarrassed, and one says penis, and the other says boobs, and one says kissing. And Omar raises his hand, and the teacher says, "Yes, Omar." And Omar says, "I'm not sure this is funny, but whenever I ask my parents about sex, something quite strange happens. It's like they're frozen and can't move, and they get very quiet. When I ask other kids about sex, it's the opposite. They start laughing and can't stop. So that's kind of funny." Mimi says, "My dad says sex isn't funny at all. It's something special and beautiful for when I grow up." And Zai says, "I don't see what this has to do with me." And Cooper says, who kind of looks annoyed, says, "This is boring. I already know about all this." The teacher continues, saying, "Learning about sex is kind of like visiting a carnival or a fair. You can never do it all in one day. It can be fun and strange and sometimes a little scary. Sound confusing?" The Mimi, who's by this kind of archway that says welcome, says, "Come on, let's go exploring." So I'm skipping ahead to a chapter now that's about the word sex. The first thing you should know about sex is that it's a word. Some words always mean the same thing, like sunshine or crayon. Other words have many different meanings, like play. Play can mean a show that you put on a stage, but it's also something we all do. You might like to play sports or video games. You might sing, play an instrument, or make art. You may play by yourself, with someone in your family, or with friends. How you like to play and what you play depends on who you are. It also depends on where you grew up, who is in your family and community, and much more. Sex is a word like play. It has many meanings. When we talk about sex, we usually mean one of 3 things. Sex is a word used to describe our bodies, like male, female, and the rest of us. Sex is something people can do to feel good in their bodies, and also to feel close to another person. Grown-ups call this having sex. Sex is one way grown-ups make babies, also called reproduction. If you want to learn about sex, there are a few other words that can help. Some might be new to you, and others you may know already. And then after these pages, we have pages where we're explaining words like respect and trust and joy and justice. But I'm going to skip ahead to the section on bodies. So this chapter is called All Bodies Have Stories, and the comic is Mimi kind of chasing to catch up with Cooper, and she's shouting, "Hey Cooper, do you want to hear a riddle?" And Cooper says, "I guess. What's something you have, but also something you are?" "I give up." "A body. Get it? You have a body, it's yours, but you also are somebody. Without your body, who would you be? You'd be nobody. With or without a body, I'd still be somebody who thinks you're weird." "Thank you. I take that as a compliment." Has anyone ever told you you can't judge a book by its cover? It means you can't tell what's inside a book if all you know is what it looks like on the outside. Bodies are kind of like books. Each of us has an outside, like the cover of a book, which other people can see. And each of us has an inside, like the inside of a book, filled with stories that only you can see and feel. Growing up can mean learning about your outside, what your body can and can't do. Growing up can also mean learning about your inside, the stories, memories, experiences, and feelings that make you who you are. And every chapter ends with questions or activities, and here's an activity. Draw a picture of what your outside body looks like. Now, draw a picture of what the stories inside you feel like. Think about how your body looks and how your body feels. What are some things that are the same? What are some things that are different? And if you like activities, here's another one called Your Growing Body. It can be fun to pay attention to how your body grows and changes. Draw a picture of what your body looks like now. Show the parts you like best. Next, draw a picture of what you imagine your body could look like when you're older. Will some things look different? Will some things look the same? And Mimi has 2 questions. How has your body grown and changed since you were a baby? And how do you feel about your body growing and changing? So again, I'm going to skip ahead to another section in a chapter called What They Called You When You Were Born. And in this comic, Cooper and his mother are going out grocery shopping, and Cooper's mother is pregnant. And Cooper's mother says, "Come on, let's go, Cooper." And Cooper says, "Right there, Mom." And they're outside a grocery store, and this couple have stopped them and are asking Cooper's mother, "Congratulations, is it a girl or a boy?" And inside the grocery store, this guy points at Cooper's mother's belly and says, "Pink or blue?" And a woman who works at the grocery store stops Cooper and asks Cooper, "Do you want a little brother or a little sister?" And at the checkout, the man says, "Are you having a boy or girl?" And on the bus, someone else says, "Do you know what you're having?" And on the street, one last person says, "Are you hoping for a boy or a girl?" And finally they get home and Cooper's helping his mom unpack groceries and says, "Mom, why does everyone keep asking about boys and girls? I just hope it's a baby." And Cooper's mom says, "Me too, Coop." Once upon a time, actually everywhere and all the time, babies are born. When a baby is born, the doctor or midwife who helped it be born looks at its new naked body. If they look down and see a penis, they say, "It's a boy." If they look down and see a vulva, they say, "It's a girl." Sometimes the people looking see a big clitoris and think it's a penis. Sometimes they see a small penis and think it's a clitoris. Sometimes they aren't sure. There are more than 2 kinds of bodies, but they call the baby a boy or a girl based on what they see. This might sound like the end of the story, but really it's just the beginning. And this chapter ends with 2 questions. What did they call you when you were born? And why do you think people want to know if a baby is a boy or a girl? So skipping ahead again, this is from a section on touch, and this chapter is called Touching Other People. And here it's a comic, and it's Omar's birthday, and he's with his family, and his mom says, "Omar, kiss your auntie hello. She's traveled a long way to see you." And Omar's auntie just kisses him, and it's this giant kiss and leaves a big lipstick mark. And Omar goes, "Hello, auntie." And then we see all these other women walking towards Omar with open arms, and Omar's mother says, "Look, all your aunties are here now." And Omar is thinking to himself, "Eek, more aunties." In some families and communities, hugging and kissing is a way of saying hello, showing respect, or showing love. A parent or family member may expect you to give them or someone else a hug or a kiss. They may ask you to do this even if you don't want to. Anytime you're not comfortable touching someone or having someone touch you, you can always try to talk about it. If you don't feel like hugging or kissing or even shaking hands, there are lots of other ways to show respect or let someone know you care. And this chapter ends with three questions. Are there people in your life you don't feel comfortable hugging, kissing, or touching? What could you do instead? And do you remember a time when you were expected to touch someone but didn't want to? And skipping ahead again, this is from a section on feelings. And this is the last chapter I'll read, and it's called Crushes. So Mimi's sitting down to dinner with her dads, and one of her dads says, "All right, dig in." And Mimi says, "Yeah, yum, my favorite, mac and cheese. It's Sam's favorite too. Did I tell you about my new friend Sam? Sam can skateboard like a pro. Sam says climate change will mean we'll be living underwater in the future. Sam has disappearing dimples. Hey, Dad, can Sam come to the movies with us on Saturday?" "That's adorable, Mimi. You have a crush on Sam." And Mimi just says, "Huh?" A crush is a special kind of feeling you have for another person. You can have a crush on any kind of person. You can have a crush on a friend or on someone you just met. You can even have a crush on someone you have never met. Not everyone has crushes. If you do, the first time can be surprising and can feel a bit strange. You don't usually choose to have a crush on someone. It just happens. You might have a crush on someone who's a lot like you. You might have a crush on someone who's very different from you. You might think about them a lot. You might want to spend all your time with them if you could. Just thinking about them can make you feel happy and nervous. When you're around them, you may feel excited or awkward or both. There are no right or wrong ways to have a crush. For some people, having a crush means wanting to be physically close and touch, like holding hands or hugging. Other people want to be close, but don't want to touch. Some crushes last a long time, and some are very short. Sometimes one person has a crush, but the other person doesn't. Other times, both people feel the same way. Some crushes can feel so big you want to keep them secret. That's your choice. But it's also okay to talk to someone you trust about a crush you have. You might decide to tell the person you have a crush on, or you might not. It might feel safe to talk about it, or not. It will probably depend on how you feel and who the person is. One more thing to know about crushes. They don't just happen when you're young. People of all ages have crushes. And this chapter ends with two questions and then a kind of suggestion, which the questions are, have you ever had a crush on someone? What did it feel like? And then Zai says, ask grown-ups you trust if they have had a crush on someone. Ask them to describe what it felt like. So those are just some selections from the book Sex is a Funny Word, and thanks for reading or listening, and I hope you liked it, and bye.